My daughter was diagnosed with a rare disease, actually an ultra-rare disease, at the end of last year. So prior to that, I had absolutely no knowledge. It was my first child, and we were thrust into this world of rare disease and trying to understand what that meant for the family, for her, what the future looked like, all of these really hard things to take as a brand new parent. We knew something was wrong fairly early in terms of her size and stuff like that, and over time our hospital stays became more prolonged and then more specific, and then over time we eventually got a diagnosis actually in early January of 2024. So when my daughter was first given her diagnosis, obviously you're told not to Google and not to look too much, and there was some fairly crudely drawn literature which we didn't really like the look of, and it was all a very scary time. Were we overly sensitive? Probably, but equally it wasn't helpful and it didn't give us reassurance that there was anyone else like us out there. And that's a really scary thing when you're just trying to work out exactly what's going on. You've got all the other stresses of being a new parent as well. It was a really, really scary time. And as I say, our route into the rare disease world was more starting to reach out, finding other parents. Thankfully, there were some very active people online with our daughter's condition that over time, my wife, really skillfully found online, and then we hooked up with them and had Zoom calls. And then from there, things piece by piece, day by day, sometimes not day by day, but over time, it started getting a bit easier, and shared experience is always so powerful. So once we found other parents, we then started thinking, okay, this is a space that needs a lot of help. And then we started doing that. We started having Zoom calls. I'm very fortunate that I come from a legal background, so I knew pharmaceutical lawyers, I knew people in investments, I knew people in business, that type of thing. So I started getting people on Zoom calls who introduced me to other people, and then, fast forward, 10 months, etc. And now we have Go Rare and that rare disease advocacy group. If I could go back to when we received our diagnosis and get, if you like, the perfect advice, it would be that you are not alone. It will be that there are other families out there going through what you're going through. It will be that, I can't speak to all diseases, but there's a lot of hope, be it in community, connection with other families. My wife and I went through just the darkest period of our life because we were just scared and we didn't understand. Now we are empowering other families, empowering ourselves, our friends. We're generating so much energy behind this campaign. You're not alone. And I'm really grateful that I'm part of something that if you were to get a diagnosis and you did a few Googles, you might find us. And I really want that to be the case where you find us, you find out our names, you'll watch a video like this and you are not alone. And you can get through this, and it's okay to feel overwhelmed because it's overwhelming. It's okay to feel angry and sad and scared. They're all those things. If you didn't feel those things, then you'd really have to worry about your feelings, I guess. But it's okay, and it's okay not to be okay, and reach out to people. And that is the best advice I can give. Go Rare is crucially needed because there is not enough advocacy regarding rare disease. There's not enough awareness of it. And really, there are so many, we live in an age now where there are so many passionate campaigns, and each one of them is absolutely legitimate and absolutely needs attention. But rare disease, especially in children, isn't given the societal backing, support, passion, anger that it really should be. And in this day and age, having young children dying who aren't getting the requisite treatment is a disgrace. And I speak as someone that didn't know about this. I'm not going to say that I was an advocate for years before this. I wasn't. I have enough things that I'm focused on. I work in a community. I have a lot of passions and so on. I feel blessed that I now have a child that has led me to this world because it's really meaningful work. And it's needed because there are too many parents who are scared out there, who think that they should be almost begging attention from large companies, begging attention for funding, begging attention just for attention in social media. But actually, we need to mobilise and get together, understand that we are not alone, Society should care about rare disease because it has to, because people with rare disease our society and people, and we have to help each other. It is a fact that when people help other people who need help, they feel better about themselves. And also, we've been staying in Great Ormond Street Hospital, and we are very fortunate in that respect. Every hospital should be like this. There should be hope everywhere. You should feel that there's care for you, and you should feel that there's hope and that you're plugged into the latest technology. And also, as a conscience of society, you know, throughout the last decade or so, there's been so much money spent on certain things, be it transport links, things that didn't get off the ground, government initiatives. We're talking billions here. That has to stop, and we have to focus on things that need our attention. Society needs to be educated, because I guarantee you, if people understood what was going on and how it affected people, it would change. And some wonderful movements started through the COVID era, if you like, where they started with a small media campaign. It then became a social media movement. Then next thing you got marches in the street. Then governments are paying attention. That's how you do it. We need this anger to be not done in an aggressive way that kind of harms our cause. It needs to be harnessed, and that energy needs to be used as our fuel to drive it forward. And we need friends, celebrities, families, groups, everyone to come together to make the change makers understand that we need help. Go Rare seeks to dissolve the difference between rare and common. And I think Go Rare can be described as a new wave of campaigning, advocacy, using very smart tactics to get things done, leveraging all of our tactics into high impact. I think we move quickly, we're small, we're nimble at the beginning. I hope we're going to grow exponentially. We have an international presence already. We're doing it for the right reasons. We don't clock off at 5 o'clock, and our children don't revert to being more typically developing children, and likewise adults don't clock off at 5 o'clock and go back to being typically developed adults. We live with this. We're not commercially driven. We don't consider any form of financial incentive or reward when it comes to helping people. Those days are prehistoric and have no place in what we're looking to do. There is so much money out there, and we need some of it to help human beings who are going through a really difficult circumstance that is literally due to the lottery of birth. So we need to have as much interest as possible. We also have really smart people on board as well, be it lawyers with a pharmaceutical background, be it global advocacy groups, be it people that have been, that CEOs of pharmaceutical. We have it all. We have lawyers, we have everyone, we have yoga teachers, we have wellness experts, and we've all come together. We're just parents, we're just sons and daughters and cousins and sisters and neighbours. We're just people, and we understand that we are just normal people in an extraordinary circumstance. And that's our power, our normality, our decency, and the way that we're just going to get things done by working hard and not giving up. Because what's the option? The other option is not doing anything. The other option is seeing our friends and partners die. And we're not going to be doing that. Absolutely not. This is a new day for this, and a new dawn, and a way of thinking about it. And we are absolutely going to change the world. Go Rare is different from other organisations because we are disease agnostic. So we are pulling everyone under our zebra umbrella, where we're all pulling together in the same direction. And initially, when we started looking at, advocacy groups, all of them, of course, have their own really important and meaningful and emotional causes. And all of these wonderful people, be it an adult or a child that's suffering from a rare disease, has their own story, and they deserve to be heard. But the reality is, if you have a million fists pumping on a door, that'll get a lot more attention than just 10, 30, 50 groups like that. And these groups are wonderful, and they've done some great work, and there's a lot out there, and we don't have to reinvent the wheel with all of the literature and stuff like that. But what we're doing is we are telling everyone, pull together, lobby together, turn up together, show our outrage together. And what would be great is that these conditions that really need a lot of attention and really need a lot of help, and others that are doing a lot better, they're further on their journey of awareness. We can all share tactics and strategy and what works and not, and it's obvious, but banding together, creating like a union, if you like, that's got our own interests at heart, that pushes forward our goals and aims. That's important, and that's going to be the thing that will band us together and make things happen. The future of Go Rare is bigger, global, having as many people involved as possible, having concerts, having protests, having our zebra logo everywhere, having our zebra umbrella being known as being rare disease in the same way that other diseases are known, or other campaigns. It's being a port in the storm for people getting diagnosis. It's being a flag bearer for rare disease. It's being somewhere that people get hope from. It's really also having awkward conversations and turning up places and making people listen, making politicians listen, making politicians understand if you want a legacy, make it this, make it helping people, make it helping people that spend their whole lives trying to get help, you know. And we want to be at the front, we want to be funding things, we want to be funding gene therapies, we want to be funding all sorts of treatments, because together we are absolutely invincible. And if people realise that we are here and we're there to help, we're going to listen to you all, there's always time for us to speak to everyone, we're going to make a huge difference. And I'm so proud and grateful to be a part of this movement, and I wouldn't change my daughter for the world. And the fact is, she's taken us here, and it will be an honour to do something that will move the needle in terms of her life quality, and then by that everyone else. So it's a wonderful time to be a part of Go Rare.